About to get started with our finals matchup. We'll have to see who's going first, what starting Pokemon each player has. I think Cody really wants to go first with this Greninja deck. He has so many evolutions. He really needs to be going first a lot. But let's see what happens here as we do get our prize cards here.
Double bursting balloon. It's usually a pretty valuable tool that he uses to apply extra pressure since your attacks aren't extremely powerful as Greninja.
And here are the prizes for Shintaro. 1 Mega, 2 Mega Audino.
Oh no.
Okay, not all 3, but there are 2 in his prize cards. That could be a very big deal.
So right off the bat, it looks like we're starting off, and Shintaro's going to start.
And here we go. The finals of the World Championships in the Masters Division.
Talonflame.
Starting off, and for once, no Talonflame for Cody. Starting off with Froakie against that Audino EX, that adorable Pokemon EX.
It really is. I love it. It sort of has that, like, did I do that look? It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and for those of you watching who, have been around since the very, very early days of the Pokemon TCG, you might recognize that attack, Do the Wave, one of the iconic attacks from an old Wigglytuff, making its way all the way to the year 2016. Always fun to see those attacks carry over to new generations.
Yeah, and it does a decent amount of damage if you don't end up getting the Mega Evolution. Could potentially be relevant. If he has a full bench, he can knock out things like Frogadier and Froakie. But I'm sure ideally you want to get the Spirit Link, you want to get Mega Audino ready to go and apply as much damage as you can a turn.
So we do see Ultra Ball for Shintaro, searching his deck for any Pokemon, putting it into his hand, and I think here he'll learn the ugly news that 2 of his Mega Audino EX are in his prize cards, and that the first one he gets out is going to have to carry him for quite a while. Fortunately, in this matchup, I don't think the first one he builds up will be under any pressure anytime soon, so he'll probably be able to pick up a couple knockouts and perhaps get one of those out of his prize cards before the first one gets knocked out.
And that's going to be one of the biggest parts of the conversation, is whether or not he can pick up an additional Mega Audino. I think even one would probably be enough to carry through the rest of the game. But in the meantime, we've got Hoopa EX immediately activating the Skeletal Ring ability to grab 3 more Pokemon. And I see 2 Audino and Magearna as well.
Yeah, so all sorts of cards we just aren't used to seeing in this deck. Magearna EX, that brand new card from the Steam Siege expansion, that could have some relevance in this matchup. Probably not a ton. There aren't really any abilities for Mega Audino to have shut off. Magearna EX has that great ability that can prevent effects of attacks, but it could come up at some point.
Yeah, and you see dropping Floatstone down on it. He didn't grab a Shaman. I wonder if he just had one in hand, or is just opting to not play Shaman and going the slow route to not give this Mega Greninja an easy target.
So we do see a supporter card. Professor Sycamore gets Spirit Link down on the active Audino EX. That's great. You do need that Spirit Link card. One of the drawbacks of Mega Evolution is that your turn ends when a Pokemon Mega Evolves, unless you have a Spirit Link card, in which case you can just continue your turn as normal. The difference between ending your turn and getting to attack is a huge difference, especially against a slower deck such as this Greninja one.
Yeah, and especially when your opponent doesn't have Talonflame, you have what can feel like sometimes 1 extra turn of setup, or at least 1 less deadly turn. So if this Mega Audino can start attacking by the next turn, that would be fantastic.
So now Cody, not a great hand.
I see Talonflame in his hand. Does that mean that he top-decked it?
Yeah, he must have. A little too late. But that's the downside, the risk of running Talonflame in your deck. When you open with it, it's great. It's an incredible starting Pokemon. When you don't, it's worthless. There is no opportunity over the course of the game for you to even get it into play.
No, there's no Maxie's hidden Vol tricks here. Nothing like that.
Yeah, there's no way to get that Talonflame out, so it's just a useless card. Fortunately for Cody, he does have the second Froakie in play now. Basically, all you're trying to do with a Greninja deck is get a couple Froakie down on the first turn, get Frogadier out on the second turn, use that Water Duplicates attack, get more Frogadier into play, and go from there.
And one major factor here is that the Froakie has 60 hit points. If Froakie had 50 hit points, this game could actually be over as soon as this turn. But Otherwise, if the Mega Audino goes online and he gets 2 energy attached to it as well, Froakie is going to survive with 10 hit points.
Now we did see the bubble tails going for the paralysis flip. Does not work out there. And this will be a big turn for Shintaro. Does he find a double colorless energy to get maybe even that Mega Autono EX powered up this turn? At the very least, do the wave with Autono EX to knock out this Froakie. I think you really need to put pressure on a Greninja deck. If they fully set up without any pressure, there's not a lot you can do to beat it. Once Giant Water Shuriken comes out, damage starts flying all over the place, it's tough to stop. But if you can beat them to the punch, knock out these Pokemon before they can evolve, that's your main path to victory.
And I know he does run one copy of Mega Turbo, so it's possible he could also attach Mega Evolve and Mega Turbo. But it would be a hard order of operations to get all of that. I think he's just searching for double colorless.
Yep, so here we do see Ultra Ball. Turn 2, we will see Mega Autono EX come into play, and we'll see if he can pull off that magical Symphony attack. If he does, Cody's going to be under a ton of pressure immediately.
Oh boy. And I see Mega Autono just about to be played down. Crowd, is this what you guys wanted? Hear a few cheers. I think they'll cheer even more if Shintaro is able to pull the game out, because I know players have been so excited to see this.
I think they're here for the concert, the magical symphony that's about to unfold in front of us. There it is, Mega Autono EX. Shintaro has Versus Seeker for that Professor Sycamore. Will he find a double colorless energy to attack this turn? 7 cards to do it.
And here we go. 7 right off the top of the deck. He's already done another one. He's got a decent chance at finding double colorless, and there it is.
And he gets it.
Oh, now I hear him. Wow, so just 10 damage short of clearing the whole board, but look at that. A turn 2 Mega Autono EX. This actually seems really, really good.
Yeah, if you're Cody, what can you do against this? It's a 220 HP Pokemon, barreling down a ton of damage every turn. You can't do a whole lot about it. You can try your best to get a couple Frogadier out, get some Greninja going, but whew, this looks ugly right off the bat.
It really does. Even if you evolved a Frogadier, this Froakie has all the damage on it. It opens up plays for Shintaro like Lysander to knock out 2 Frogadier at once. This looks dominating.
Absolutely. So we saw Shintaro taking his prize, almost took a Mega Autono, instead took Professor Sycamore. But here we go with Water Duplicates. Cody has 1 Frogadier in hand, so at most he can get 2 out of his deck here with the Water Duplicates, get them onto his bench. And yeah, if Shintaro has a Lysander, we're going to see a double knockout on the 3rd turn, leaving just a Frogadier in play, and I don't think Cody can respond to that.
When I saw the Mega Autono and I saw, you still have to Mega Evolve up, I didn't expect turn 2 pressure. But it turns out when you get turn 2 pressure with this deck, it's ferocious. Even though it's not knocking out the Froakie immediately, that damage is still very relevant because it can set up double knockouts, set up triple knockouts with things like Shaman against other decks. It's really a deck all about taking 2 prize cards at once. It's almost this unholy future of the Night Spear Darkrai EX turned into a giant, adorable monster.
Yeah, I mean, Darkrai EX with that Night Spear attack dominated the Pokemon TCG for years. Another card that could be big is that Absol in Shintaro's discard pile. If he can Super Rod it back into the deck and use Cursed Eyes to move 3 of the damage counters off one Frogadier to the other, he could then get a double knockout. Looks like he's just going to settle for the Hex Maniac and Magical Symphony.
He picked up another one.
All right. Picking up steam quickly. Cody needs to get some Greninja out right now. He has no supporters in his hand, nothing at all.
So plays the
he just concedes.
startling megaphone into Scoop.
Shintaro takes game number 1. Here we go, game number 2 in the World Championship Finals in the Masters Division between Cody Walinski and Shintaro Ito. Again, no Talonflame start. The bright news for Cody, he is going first, so he can, get a turn of breathing room. Last game it was, Shintaro went first, attached, passed, and then Cody had to pass back, and then immediately his Froakie got knocked out by Magical Symphony. This time around, he's going to be the one going first. His Froakie won't get knocked out right away. He can then evolve to Frogadier. He'll basically start the game at 1 fewer prize deficit than he did in the last game. A little less pressure just from going first.
Yeah, and going first really is one of the biggest keys to anybody's game plan. It really depends from deck to deck how important it is, but I would say for a big setup deck like Greninja, it's pretty big.
And so here we do see Bursting Balloon on the Froakie, along with a Professor Sycamore, discarding a couple Water Energy and that Greninja Break. Cody just looking to refill his hand for next turn, wants to make sure he can get Frogadier for the next turn, and might as well dump your hand right now and see if you can find some stuff.
I actually don't see any out to Frogadier. He might just have to Verse Seeker for Lysander this next turn, so just passing with his 2 Froakie.
Wow, Shintaro starting with a lot of Autono Spirit Link in his hand. There is one. There is another. Wow, right away preparing for the next turn, getting the Mega Evolution. Discards his hand with Professor Sycamore, actually discarding the last Autono Spirit Link as well. There is an opening here for Cody on his next turn to find that startling Megaphone and discard all those Pokemon tools and really set Shintaro back a little bit if he can.
And that would be definitely a powerful way for Startling Megaphone to be played in its final standard game in the Pokemon trading card game, to discard a double Spirit Link. Otherwise, if Shintaro even wants to use the Mega Autono, he would have to end his turn.
So there we do see the double colorless energy. We'll have to see if he wants to use Drain Slap for 20. Nope, doesn't want to take the damage from the Bursting Balloon. And now it's on Cody. He needs to find a Frogadier right here. Otherwise, he's going to be way too far behind against the incoming pressure of Mega Autono EX. Trying to decide where he wants to put this Splash Energy. It's a very useful card when your Pokemon gets knocked out. You get to return all the Pokemon to your hand. It's actually going to attach to the active.
Yeah,
if he finds Frogadier and uses water duplicates, he can then get the Frogadier back after it gets knocked out.
He's going to go ahead and Super Rod these pieces back into his deck. He didn't draw any kind of search card, so he's forced to Lysander. He will lose 1 Greninja in the process, but at the end of the day, he just needs a Frogadier as soon as possible.
So Super Rod shuffling in Greninja Break and 2 Water Energy right before he's about to discard his hand once again. With that Professor Sycamore, does he find Frogadier this turn? That is going to be the story of this turn. Can he use water duplicates and get a couple Frogadier into play?
Frogadier is a necessity. Startling Megaphone would be a huge added bonus.
Certainly. So big 7 cards here for Cody. Does he find what he needs? Does he find at least a Frogadier?
Oh, man.
No.
I don't see one at all. I don't even see anything he can play in the next turn either. And you can really see some of the issues. Sometimes when you start without any of the available pieces to you, and you don't have the Talonflame to help you search your deck for 2 cards and shore up the inconsistencies, you're left with Bubble.
Well, he does get heads on the Bubble. That won't be too relevant if Shintaro has Mega Autono EX to work with, and I think he does. This is getting ugly for Cody quickly.
He's already on a 1-turn clock. If Mega Autono comes into play, it's in Shintaro's hand. I can only imagine he'll evolve to get out of sleep, attach an energy, and go wild. He can even, I think he might have 2 in his hand.
Yeah, he's got a Mega Autono EX ready to go. Also an Ultra Ball if he wants to do that as well. Here it is, Mega Autono EX evolving. Spirit Link doesn't have to end the turn. We see the other energy, another turn 2, Magical Symphony. Now, he does need to play a supporter card to get the additional 50 damage to a benched Pokemon. So we'll have to see if he has one of those in his hand.
Yeah, and even without it, I feel like knocking out the active Pokemon alone is at least enough. But you would definitely like that extra pressure. It's a big deal.
See Ultra Ball discarding Cobalion as well as a Pokemon Center Lady. Might be finding a Shaman EX to try to draw some more cards. Maybe Hoopa EX to find another 3 Pokemon EX. Plenty of options to work with. And there we do see Hoopa EX with the Scoundrel Ring ability, searching for 3 Pokemon EX. If you're Cody, I mean, when you draw your opening hand, your heart probably sinks, not seeing Talonflame again. You play Sycamore going for Frogadier, and then you look at your cards, and you're like, really? Not even a Frogadier. When you're in the finals of the World Championships, your deck letting you down at the worst possible time has to be a terrible feeling in the pit of your stomach.
Yeah, and it really is. If you guys saw the top 4 match yesterday, a polar opposite. Cody had everything he could have ever wanted in both of his games against Ross Cawthon. And he's already, if he doesn't draw something, he might just be forced to bubble again. And we could see the World Championships over with almost an hour left on the clock again.
So we see Professor Sycamore off the trainer's mail at the very least. Shintaro will have a supporter card this turn. We'll get to use the full effect of that magical symphony attack. And I just can't believe how much pressure this deck is putting on his opponent. You can see why it's here in the finals of the World Championships. Just an incredible amount of damage to multiple Pokemon. A 220 HP Pokemon dishing out all this damage. It's pressure. It's tough to knock out. It seems unstoppable.
It seems entirely built to deal with decks that need to evolve. All decks that need to evolve have basic Pokemon. Most basic Pokemon with 70 or less hit points. And when you're able to continually spread damage like this, it's actually really powerful against the popular metagame decks today.
So we are about to see that magical symphony knocking out the Froakie. He will take 6 damage counters from the bursting balloon. And Froakie goes back to Cody's hand with that splash energy. He needs to draw something right here. What does he get? Oh, water energy.
I don't even think he has a single card that searches. I think it's bubble time and nothing else. He can drop another Froakie, but wow, that's it.
Not
it's
like
another
this.
Bubble, not like this.
All right, this could be a huge bubble, and it is off the table. If he gets tails, all it means is Lysander, game over. He needs heads to stay in the game, and it is...
It's tails!
Tails!
Is there a Lysander in Shintaro's hand?
And it doesn't even matter. Magirna EX is out there.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
And there it is. He has the Versus Seeker in hand. We're ready to see.
It's
I think
over.
This is it. One
It's
last
over.
magical symphony, and that's it. Mega Autono EX. It's over. Shintaro is your 2016 Masters Division World Champion.